residential stair, overall rise cannot normally exceed 144 inches or 12 feet in height without a landing on the stair. This is a straight line stair, obviously, but if it were 144 inches or taller, it would require a landing or a rest area, if you will. Also, if the stair has more than 16 risers, the same thing would apply. It has to have a landing in order to go up 16 risers. One thing that we should keep saying over and over, and I haven't been, is that all of these guidelines that we're talking about are referencing residential stairs. Commercial stairs are totally different. It's a totally different set of rules that apply, so we have to keep that in mind. Those have to be addressed separately. This stair, as we're talking about it today, would design a stair that is legal. It also would design a stair that's fairly comfortable. If we normally stay within that 7 3/4 or less, 10 inches or more in tread cut, we're normally going to have a fairly comfortable stair. In fact, most stair builders and most contractors will try to build a rise height of around 7.5 inches. That's the ideal goal. How do we determine the most comfortable stair? We can do that by looking at some ratios that will give us an idea of a comfortable stair. And these ratios are basically based on human ergonomics. It's a nice long word. It just simply means how the human body works. Ergonomics is something that affects how we approach life in general, how our body moves, how our joints move, how we play sports, all those things. In a stair, the ergonomics basically tell us that one rise height plus one tread cut should be a number between 17 and 18. So in our sample here, if we have a riser height of approximately 7 point, I think in this case it's 7.7 inches, and we have a tread cut of 10 inches, then we have approximately 17.7 inches, which is within our goal of trying to have a number between 17 and 18. We also, if we add two, there's another ratio, if we have 2 risers plus 1 tread cut, which in this case again is going to be about 15.4 inches plus 10 inches. That number should be between 24 and 26, and in this case the number turns out to be 25.4 inches. So within those ratios we have designed a comfortable stair. Now the sum of 1 riser times the 1 run should be a number between 70 and 75, and that's where we run into a little bit outside our ideal ratios. The number should be between, again, 70 and 75 inches. In this case, a rise of 7.7 times 1 run of 10 inches gives us a number of about 77 inches. We're a little outside our range. And the reason for that is simply the code requires us to have a minimum 10-inch tread cut. However, in some stair heights, a 10-inch tread cut is a little wider than we actually need. There's no harm in it. It's just a little wider than we would need. We could get by, and the old rules were for 9-inch tread cuts. So we could have gotten by with a 9-inch tread cut. We'd be close to our correct ratio. Actually, a 9.5 would probably be closer to ideal, but we're fine with a 10-inch tread cut in this case. So these numbers, and there's a lot of scribbling on the board here, but these numbers tune us into a comfortable stair within the range of the code that we have to follow to make sure we have a safe stair. Now, is that the only stair that we can build? And the answer is no. We can always adjust the number of risers, and the number of risers will adjust the run of the stair if we have enough horizontal distance, which is the run of the stair. We can add risers, and every time you add a riser, obviously you're going to add a tread. We could add risers to reduce the individual riser height. In this case, adding 1 more riser, and I'll flip the page here. Adding 1 more riser, so we go from 14 to 15 risers, individual risers. heights. Then we have 15 risers. Each one of those risers is going to be about 7.3 inches. If we do the math, this is going to be approximately still 10 inches. So we have 10, but we have more treads. So we go 14 times 10. We've added 10 inches to our horizontal distance, but we have a shorter rise, and we are going to be 7.3 times 10 inches equals 73 inches, which is between our 70 and 75 inch thresholds for what we're going to consider a comfortable stair. So with those ideas in mind, and again, quite often you don't have the opportunity to do all of this before the stair is built. With all of this in mind, however, you can look at a set of prints. You can then count the number of treads that's been drawn on that set of prints. You can look at where the header is above the stairway. You can then determine whether or not there is a layout issue with that stair, whether it needs a platform, maybe where that platform should go. Is it going to be a headroom problem? Headroom is given as a point above the stair. The ceiling has to be at a point above the stair at any point on a horizontal line. So 80 inches above this horizontal line at any point on the stair will determine your headroom issue. The problem is that a lot of times when you extend the run of the stair, and as we're building houses today with taller ceilings, we quite often have taller stairs, obviously, to get to that second floor, which means that we have more rises, because again, rise is limited now to 7 3/4 in most areas, which adds the number of rises to the stair. Taller ceilings will add rises, which also then dictates more treads, which means that we have to have a longer run on the stair. Sometimes we don't have a well or a hole in the ceiling large enough to accommodate that stair. And the basic guideline is this. And again, flip the page. Under an 8-foot ceiling, which is 96 inches, if you show more than 2 risers outside the well opening, and again, let's say the rises are 7.7 inches times 2. So we have 96 inches to the 8-foot ceiling. We have 15.4 inches. We have approximately 81 inches to the ceiling at that point, where you can see as you step up and up, if you go to a 3rd riser underneath the ceiling and not in the well area, you're going to have a headroom problem. In a 9-foot ceiling, you can have a total of 3 risers, and in a 10-foot ceiling, you can have as many as 5 risers that are outside the well opening, and you still won't have a headroom problem. But anything exceeding those will give you a headroom problem as you go up the stair. It also makes the stair uncomfortable. When you get below 80 inches in height, it feels like that you're walking toward that ceiling, obviously, which you are, and it feels like that space is getting shorter as you go up, which it is, and you have a tendency to want to duck as you go up that stair. If you leave your headroom properly spaced with the right number of risers, then as you go up the stair, you won't even be cognizant of the ceiling and the fact that you're getting closer. You'll be looking straight ahead. You won't see the ceiling as you go up the stair. So it becomes a real comfort issue. It's also a convenience issue when you're trying to take furniture up and down stairs. When you have less headroom than 80 inches, which is the height of a standard 6-foot 8-inch door, once you're below that level, it's hard to get some furniture in and out. It makes it a little tight. Plus, again, it's an uncomfortable feeling. Also, as we are laying out these stairs and we're dividing out these dimensions to do our stair layout, we have a ergonomic issue that comes into play as well. When we design the stair comfortably, we are walking up the stair in a fairly upright position. We may lean in slightly as we walk up the stair. Once the stair becomes too tall, the individual rises become too tall, we have more of a tendency to to have to lean backwards, which makes the stair uncomfortable. It's more like climbing a ladder. When we come down the stair, we'll have the same tendency to almost lean backwards. We will take a shorter step going down the stair, but we will be a little less comfortable. And if, again, you have a headroom issue, or you're just barely at the limit for headroom, as you come down that stair, you feel like you're going to bump the ceiling and you have a tendency to want to duck. By the same token, when you get this rise too short, you have a problem to lean into the stair. You have a problem to take a longer step into the stair, and quite often your foot will bump the riser because you're taking a longer stride into the stair. Coming down, you have the same tendency. You will tend to lean toward the stair. It's much more less comfortable than it is if the stair is properly designed.